Good night, ladies and gentlemen. A wonderful night to you all. Let me take the opportunity of welcoming you to this another episode of the Saudichress show. We all know that this is the Monday night, and so we continue to do sports and entertainment on Mondays, Wednesdays, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays our show, but Monday and Wednesdays is geared towards sports and entertainment. Tonight I'll be solo. I have no guest tonight, so you are my special guest, all of you who are on the chat tonight. So let me welcome you all, regardless of your status, whether you're a recurring viewer, one who participates every night, or you don't, or you just watch or listen to the show. I do welcome you. For those who are joining for the first time, special welcome to you all. Special welcome. And if you have not yet subscribed, please do so. Hit the like button, people, and so we can have a wonderful night. You probably hear it in my voice. I'm really tired. But guess what? It is the show, and the show must go on. And by so doing, let me also welcome all our sponsors. Let me take the time out to big up our sponsors, our long-standing sponsors. PIBA, the Pasadena Ballers Association, one. We have Nose and Toad Heating and Cooling System, Dallas Fine Cut Barbering, Taste of the Island Restaurant, Deja Vu Retro Party. We also VIP Services, Juki's Shipping, Solid Rock Black Factory, Gregory Messam, Conway Basil Gale, Satisfaction and Entertainment, also Electronics. These are a few of our sponsors, people. And so let me say thank you for doing us a great favor by continuing to support this show on the sponsorship side. Of course, we will have a lot of sports news out today. A lot of shocking news are brewing across the world. And so, more so Jamaica, interestingly, we have a lot of discussion. Over the weekend, we have a number of sporting events that has made it, what would I say now, big traction. We have also have entertainment that would have captured many of our viewers. Herbal salute and all. Good. And we would like to say I'm happy that all of you enjoy the weekend and you are safe. You are back here with us on this Monday night show. So far, I continue to ask that you hit the like button. And so far, I can see my good friend and producer, RR. Blazings, blessings to the PIBA squad and Principal Sadi. Big up yourself, RR. Ever present, ever sure. Yes? Thank you very much for joining. All right. So, people, you will be the star of the show, as I mentioned earlier. And so, whatever the questions are, whatever the topic you want us to put across, other than these interesting topics that I may or may not touch, it is with your views, your own opinions, we ask that you shared with us. So, one big event over the weekend, people, that I did not really watch because I was so much engaged in the Saudichress show, the Sportsman and Sportswoman Award, the RJR Sportsman and Sportswoman Award. That was Friday. And from that event, we see a number of our athletes were honored. Good. The Sportswoman of the Year, again, so much Sportswoman of the Year this lady has won. Shelly Ann Fraser Price has won the Sportswoman of the Year. And so the Sportsman of the Year, Rashid Broadbell, And so we understand that sorry, not just the performances over the year, but there was a voting aspect of this. And people who voted would have understood the criteria, so to speak, of this award. One very situation coming out of the Sportsman and Sportswoman Award, when I listened to the interview that was done with Shelley and Fraser Price, it was so alarming. It was so fulfilling. A sense of kindness came out from Shelley that she actually would have wanted to share, in my own view, share this prestigious award with Shericka Jackson. Of course, when you look at what Shericka Jackson has done over that past year, track and field season, she deserved something. And so Shelley and Fraser would have made mention, full mention of that people. And so I'm really happy that she was there. Now, I think our own little Edwin past athletes, now gone pro, Tia and Tina, I think they have received an award too. And so congratulations to all of them. My very good friend, Asafa Powell, has also received an award. The award, long-standing athlete that he has received. Well deserved, if you ask me. Well deserved for Asafa Powell people. So very grateful for all of that. The English Premier League, we're in my own WhatsApp group, the PIBA group. The EPL has taken over the entire discussion. People, all over Jamaica, the discussions of the Premier League. Some groups or some people have found it very difficult to take as their teams have been suffering shock defeats here and there, inclusive of some draws that are distasteful. I must say, when I look at that, I myself, my team, Liverpool, have been playing and gone to shambles. Unfortunately, there is still hope. There's still a number of games, but the way they are playing and the way the other teams above them, above Liverpool and so Chelsea, because Chelsea and Liverpool are the talking points right now because of their very poor performances. And so we have to accept that, right? But there are a number of games left, and we have to look at how things are. Football these days, international club football, if you don't turn up, especially in the EPL, trust me, you will get nothing from a particular game. People, we have 8 people starting the show. 8 I'm seeing right now, and we only have 2 likes. Please hit the like button, hit the thumbs up. We all understand that. Again, let me take it through the show as we look at the chat right now. Errol Stewart, good evening, Sadi. Good evening, Mr. Stewart. Of course, I know you're joining and probably will be leaving us out. Very, very good. Thank you for joining us, sir. Shane Bimbos Smalling, greetings, my brother. Big up Shane. What you talk about, man? The man they call Bimbos. All right. Fireman in the place. So all who come tonight for blaze fire. We have so you know, Bimbos, I want to ask a question all the while, you know, and I don't want to take this show for a drama show, but every time I talk about firemen or fire department, but you don't deal with fire, you actually use water. So you are not the waterman or waterman. Just the thing about it. Just mere thought though, thinking about fireman just dealing with water. All right, so again, RJR should have senior and junior sport women. Surely Tina Clayton would get the junior award. That is so true. I mean, if you look at it too, you know, put away international events or competition, I strongly believe that Tina would have been up there. If you look at what she has done locally and regionally, she would have been there. You're so right. So that's how it is. But I'm telling you, Shericka and Shellyan, look out for little Tina. And I'm sure Tina is not leaving out Tia at all out of the mix. Right there and then. All right, people. So the EPL, we could look at, you know, we could have a discussion around the EPL. We also, our own JPL. own JPL people, the Jamaica Premier League, has a shocking revelation, or should I say, put out a press release this afternoon. And the press release is saying that the competitions committee of the JFF has handed down sanctions to Chapelton Maroons, who failed to turn up for their JPL fixture versus Mount Pleasant FC at the Effortville Community Centre on Sunday, January 2. That was yesterday. And what a sanction. We'll get into that later on, and I would love for you to continue your participation. Big up yourself, Denton Pommels, aka Flasher. Big brother, what's up, man? Thank you very much for joining. I hope Lawrence joining us too. I want to say something special to him. Alright, so make sure fresh here if you're listening. Let me see you in the chat, or even call. And people who have not been getting the responses as it relates to participation through calls. So remember, our WhatsApp call lines are 501-6625 or 876-423-8454. Again, 876-501-6625 and 876-423-8454. Thank you very much for joining. So people, where do we start? Let us have a zoom in on the EPL over this weekend. The Arsenal fans have been filled with, but they are buzzing over, and a matter of fact, let me not use the term buzz. They have cranked up. And you know what? The Arsenal fans are alive and well. The Arsenal fans have all the right to be loud. All the rights to be loud. The match of the weekend, ladies and gentlemen, in my view, and very few people can actually debate that. Actually, where we see Arsenal has beaten Manchester United by 3-2, a very enticing game where Man U scored first. Arsenal equalized, and I think went up 2-1. Manchester equalized, and then Arsenal took it in the latter stages of the game with a very interesting game. But this is what I want to ask both fans, Arsenal fans and the Man United fans. Also, the football faithful who watch the game, the neutrals. What's your take on that game? What's your take on that game? I watched that game in and out, but for the most part, as I was watching also the church service on YouTube for Edwin Allen, that comments Edwin Allen Week of Activity. Again, let me big up the Edwin Allen crew, the Edwin Allen faithful, the Edwin Allen students, staff, and more so, the driver of the bus at Edwin Allen. The big driver I'm talking about. The principal. Jermaine Harris. Big up yourself, Mr. Principal. Since I mentioned driver of the bus, I still have to say big up Bentley. I him drive the little bus. Alright, so as you go, Mr. Lee, up Sadi and friends. Bless up yourself, Mr. Lee, man. Bless up yourself. And Mr. Donaldson, howdy, Mr. Wittick, howdy, my boss. Good to have you here tonight again, Mr. Donaldson, the manager of the Edwin Allen football team. So that game needed the fire truck. It was hey, let me tell you, man, trust me, this game reminds me of some games over the past couple of years with Man City and Liverpool. A sort of, maybe this one wasn't so much of an end-to-end game, but it was really there. It has what it means. You want to see both teams getting close to that goal. And I can tell you, even though Arsenal dominated, I think somehow Man U may be a little careless. A little careless to lose that game. I think based on how the game went, they probably deserve a point. But guess what? the teams that score the most will win. That is always my take in football, especially as a neutral. And so we understand. So are saying that Saka the best lefty from the flank right now? No doubt. But he has to live up because his team has been showing that they are the best team right now in the league, regardless of how we think. Arsenal. And remember, some time ago, people, I have crowned Arsenal the winner. Maybe prematurely, but I don't know who will take this one away from Arsenal. All right? I don't know. All right, another enticing game. Another game. It may be a one-sided game, people, but Man City Wolves. What was so exciting in that game, people? Tell me. Erling Haaland scored another hat-trick. Erling Haaland scored another hat-trick. This man has now gone 25 goals in the EPL. Listen now. 25 goals from 20 games. And I thought he played 19 games. I don't think he played all 20. This is frightening. I am almost sure that Erling Haaland will score 50 Premier League goals this season. If you notice something, it remind me of Salah in his first season. Whenever Erling Haaland hasn't scored in a game or two, whenever he return with a bang. This was what? Is it his third hat-trick in the competition? Check that out. Yes. But just to say, people, the midweek game where our Man City played, was it Spurs? Yes. I think there was a midweek game where Man City played Spurs. That game was played on Thursday. Yes, man. Where Man City came from 2 goals down. They were 2-0 down at halftime. And they returned to win 4-2. 4 unanswered goal in the second half. Wow. Arsenal playing a more complete football right now. But Man City is still frightening. Man City, on their day, whenever they are serious, will rip apart any team. In my own view, over the past couple of years, I always believe that Man City can be beaten. And how will you beat Man City? You have to take the game to them. Not man for man or pass for pass. But you have to play your own game. You have to play tight and try to hit them on the counter. That's where they are weak. But trust me, people, we have seen the Premier League getting hot. And you notice the game I started out with. The last game over the weekend. Arsenal versus Man U. I've seen people talking a whole lot of little things, a whole lot of things. Who will finish fourth? Who will win? But guess what? Football is football. There are some teams that know how to position themselves to get some points. Or to play to a position. But guess what? Where it is now, I can't see Arsenal, Man City, or Man U out of the top 3. I can't see that right now. However, that number 4 spot is also tricky. All right. So, Damian Morrison. Why may I tell you this man I try to do one deep poll, If you look at it, you don't have no links to RGD, Mr. Kevin. Good night to Kevin and your listeners and viewers. Big up yourself, my referee. Talk about. Yes, sir. Kevin, I wonder if you watch that Man City that Man United Arsenal game on Sunday. Tell me a little what you think about that last goal from that Arsenal, the winner. Yeah, tell me about it. Saka over Salah right now. Yes, man, no doubt about it. Salah is in shadows right now, man. Trust me. Salah don't know him right foot from him left foot right now. Trust me. Mbappe scored 5 today. Wow. What a 5-timer, 5-star general that, you know. Oh, Lord. Mbappe and Haaland will carry the torch for the next few years. And you know what would have been good RR? If we could get Mbappe in the Premier League and have him, Haaland and Mbappe going great guns. Not on the same team, you know. Not on the same team. But to see that level of... Because these are two hungry players for goals, you know. They are hungry goal scorers. And the difference, I think, I don't think Mbappe and Erling Haaland is really as selfish as Yester forward. Most times, big forward are really selfish. Whether one call them wing forward, centre, it no matter. They are forward for me, strikers. But they are not as selfish as, you know, even Salah. So we understand that. But they will take it, man. Trust me. Blessings. 1, 2, 3, Mr. Lee. I mean, chatbot. Errol Stewart. 3rd or 4th hat-trick. Yes, man. In 19 games. This is alarming, people. Hey, let me tell you, man. This youth is a dragon. Erling Haaland is the man strong and fast. Boy, I tell you, trust me. The man, when you look at how the man rise, or you look how the man lift himself off the ground to take those headers, you know. And when him edit, you know, I tell you, you know, the man ahead with power, you know. When we learn, so we must bring the back and head. Trust me, man. Are you a star? Rate him. Free him too. Nigel Allen. Pick up yourself, Mr. Allen. What's up, man? Which team you support? Is that suppose or support? Yeah, man. I'm a Liverpool fan. But I can't take the leaks, boss. May I tell you the truth? I really can't take the leaks. And even though I'm saying that, I'm not one of those fans who, you know, quarrel and upset. No. I watch the game. I'm a critique. I'm a lover for my love. But after the game, that's it. I watch almost... Hey, the only games I don't watch in the Premier League is when I can't get to watch them. But once they're available on TV, I'll watch them. Right now, I am not comfortable with my coach. And a lot of people are giving me sticks about I clap a big coach. He's a big coach. But there are certain things about coach that I have to give them credential or big them up. Is that a big coach must can make certain changes in our game or even in our game plan prior to a game. Why? When you look at Liverpool suffering from injuries, and I've seen it already with a depleted squad, but Klopp continue to play the same system. Playing the same system and you don't have all the players who you normally use to be effective. But he's still using them. Using the squad players to play the same system. Yes, you're trained. I don't have a problem with that. But it's not working. How long will he see that? How long will it take for Klopp to say, all right, I don't have 3 forward that can give me that high press. Let me see if we can use 2 and give an extra man in midfield. Because we're midfielders. Our own midfielders, the best midfielders that we think we have in Liverpool squad, they are up in age. You can't get that fire from the captain anymore. You can't get the fire from, what's his name again? Thiago. Fabinho is the slowest man on the pitch. So if you don't have those energy, that game, because I've seen Liverpool front three are pressing, but we are the midfield. Then we have. So these are things that I believe that the coach will have to be addressed for me. Good? All right. Where we at now? So sanitize the hand. Like up the channel. Yes, people, please. Like up the channel and subscribe. Well, all of you may see in I chat me know to subscribe, but I figure that you have some other persons there that have not yet subscribed. I ask you to, because this is one way. And I want my channel to grow, people. I know you want it to grow because you want me to continue to show, knowing that we have so much enriched information. All right? So next in the chat, we see that, oh my God, people, I can't call some names. So is that Ali Cisse? Ali Cisse, please help me out with that pronunciation. Right now, Sadi, me all want to know for the run, but that for the run of money, cause him we run left Jamaica and this and this one. Hey, listen me. You hear me a laugh? It's a serious thing. The run of money gone. I've been listening, and to be fair with you, most of the information that I have gathered about the runner's money is from mainstream media, meaning from our own TV, local TV, international TV. But I am telling you, even though I know that YouTube, for argument's sake, have a lot of information out there, I never go full 100 following the YouTube. Why? Sometimes we tend to make a gimmicks out of it. Yes? Even though, if you read between some lines, you will understand. And some people don't want to call Sadi name. So they say, Adi or Clady. Mix up the thing. Alright? When say them, no offside. Alright, boss. I saw one line draw we look away, and you know what happened? I said to myself, say, maybe because they give away with Rashford against Man City. Since they allow that, Man United have to face one consequences too. Have to face the consequences. So I feel them time. Alright, that's just my thought. Too bad for me. But it's the inconsistency of the VR. That's why I said that. But I respect you, boss. And if you say no offside, it's no offside. You may go with. Alright. Big up yourself, Kevin. Yes, so the run of money. Again, if you know more information, you could share it. Where the money there, I don't know. But one of the strangest thing about the runner's money, for someone to take 12 million US dollars, 12 million US dollars from a personal account over time, knowingly she's unable to pay it back. Knowingly that at some point they will find out. But you know what? I can't go ahead and form different ideas. But in my estimation, it can't be one person. If you listen especially to the letter that she wrote and what they read, so many reasons why she pulled some money. By the way, me almost sure say I know about money she pull either. Boy, let me not say me almost sure, but it wasn't bolt money alone. That's what I should have said. So where that money has gone, I don't know. And the frightening thing to me, people, if that is the culprit, if that lady is the person behind all of this, where will she get back that money to pay back, Paul? Tell me. Now me see the woman I walk with walker and after you pushing a wheelchair. I don't understand. How comes she cripples so fast? How comes she break down so fast? And so many people who aligned to those financial institutions doesn't have a clue, doesn't know what's happening, or failed to pick up on what's happening. So, again, I heard that there are a lot of information out there on YouTube. We could always go and read and listen, but trust me, it is frightening. And what I notice now, from the international media, they are following this very closely. The international media is following this incident closely. Why? My view why it is US money that was quoted. And what I believe, US money is US money. Anywhere the US money go, it belongs to United States of America. Anywhere it goes in the world. And some of you who have enough and think say, when you pass on, you carry it with you. No, it will go right back to US. So if you don't carry it, go Africa. If you don't carry it, come to Jamaica people. If you don't carry it, go anywhere else in the world. A US money, don't forget that. So the US will have an interest. Money laundering. God bless who trying to make themselves better by investing in some of these companies. It will be hard. Right now you go to the bank, and this is what I don't understand, how these things happen. You go to the bank, you have to lodge $5,000. If you want to deposit $5,000 in your own account, people, you have to tell them where you're getting money from. And those are the banks who are using tellers now, if you want right. If you go to Western Union to send money, you have to tell them where you get the money from. My own money, I me have a job. But the rules only straight and hard for the weak persons or the poor people like myself and some of you. And I'm not calling down poor on you, people. Trust me, I'm not. We all have our own riches, but I hope you understand. All right? So, Ali, see, say that's my take now, and you can always continue with that. Push out the questions and let us have a chat. Tell me what you know. Give me your view on that thing. Damien is saying that player number 14 of Arsenal was almost in line with the second to last defender. No, brother. No. Me no agree with you right now. That word almost no make no sense to me, Mr. Was he in line? Was he behind? Was he in front? That's what I want you to tell me, Mr. Kevin. Don't tell me that he's almost. No, I agree with the almost thing there. So tell me, was he in line? Was he behind the line, or was he at the head of the line? Which one? I'm listening out. I'm looking up. So blacks need a part 2 on the show. The law of football change with technology. Hey blacks, how you answer that fast, because I don't want to get into that. Need a PowerPoint presentation on the lines. Oh yes, thank you very much, RR. Yes, all right. So he was in front, blacks. Hold on, let me get it straight. If blacks, join me and give one PowerPoint here, man. Tell me if you want to do that, or show me something, because if you are in front the line, that means you're offside. If you are behind the line, you would be onside. And if you're in line, you're onside. But if you are in front of the line, you should be offside. Maybe I'm getting it wrong from your perspective. Again, clarity on that for me, please and thanks. I don't want to mislead my people. All right? Yes, so those were some games, people. Today, Tottenham returned to winning ways. They have clipped Fulham 1-0. And so they have stayed on, what's that, 5th position on 31 points or something like that. Yes. No, 36 points. Good. All right, so we still have some games we have not looked on. You could always touch with it. I heard on social media, I see on social media where the people in class, the first match on Saturday, the Liverpool-Chelsea match as trash versus rubbish. What a dangerous choice of words. You're trying to embarrass the two big giants. Trash versus rubbish. I demand you to take back those statements. I know them bad enough, but no, it's a trash versus rubbish. That's too hard for me. All right, so yes, Damian, you are saying that he was a little in front of the defender. Ah, wow. Interesting. Interesting. All right, people, let us look now at what's happening in Jamaica. More so the Premier League, the JPL, people. And I want to take you through what has transpired over the weekend. There are a number of games in the JPL over the weekend. I think one game is still going on. All right. But what I must say, though, is that Chapelton Maroons has been sanctioned, heavily sanctioned by the JFF. They have been sanctioned because they never turn up for their match versus Mount Pleasant on Sunday. And that game should have been played at the Effortville Community Center. That's where Humble Lion plays in Maypen. Now, I have gotten information from credible source from the Chapelton Maroon. And this situation, people, I don't know how much I can carry through for you to fully understand. Maybe you have understood it more than I do. But listen to what I am saying now. Chapelton Maroons had a shortage of players. Oh boy. The short squad was because of some internal issues. What I have heard is that Coach Lenny Hyde, who, thank you very much, Kevin Nilal versus Arnett Falkland. What? Falkland are going to get a point tonight? I wonder if they can clip Arnett in the jungle. That would be good for them and good for Montego Bay, eh? Right. So continue for the update. Continue. I would like the update right through. Yes. So what I was told is that Lenny Hyde, who was fired from Chapelton Maroon a week ago, has decided to take away or take along with him his players, the players who had played for Clarendon College. So what I heard, there were 9 Clarendon College players in the squad at Chapelton Maroons. 9. And I stand for correction. However, 5 of them were starters. And with the, what would I say now? With the departure of Coach Hyde, who was fired by the management of Chapelton Maroons, has decided to take along the players with him. If that is so, which I believed, that was a low blow from Coach Hyde. That was a low blow. What I want to understand now, people, what I want to understand now, those players are students in an institution, students of Clarendon College. It seems to me that Coach Hyde is the parents or guardian of those athletes. Again, people, this is my view. Now, let us look into this. Normally, a coach gets fired. Who moves with the coach? His coaching staff. You follow me? Now, if the coaching staff moves with the coach, that I understand. That makes sense to me. But when you find that players moving with the coach, it is not right. And you know why it's not right, people? And this is, Coach Hyde, to be honest with you, I want an interview with you. I asked for that, still not yet, and I hope that we'll have one. That is a low blow. I think that you have punched below the waist in that match. The reason why Hyde could have done that, people, is because those students did not sign a contract with Chapelton Maroons because of their age. And remember, a few weeks ago, the JFF would have put out or remind people that you cannot have more than 5 under 18 players. Or should I say, not under 18 players. I think you can't have more than 5 non-contractual players in your team. And it's not in the squad, people. The information that I gathered, you cannot have more than 5 uncontracted players each match for a match. That means you can have all 30. But for a particular game, only 5 will be permitted. That's how the rules. That hit Chapelton Maroons and Coach Hyde at the time. Because most, the nucleus of the Chapelton Maroons, especially those who qualified, who played in the qualifiers, were schoolboys. We know that. We understand. And that's why you have seen it manifested in the Dakasta Cup competition. These guys were way ahead of most of their peers. Mr. Lee said Chapeltons have less Maroons. LOL. But hey, all the people from Chapelton need to call me, because all me I read about Maroons back in the days, I never hear some Maroons at Chapelton. But anyway, sorry about that. Let's not stray from the point. Mr. Lee, you're too bad. Let's get it back again. The players. So, if Chapelton Maroons, for argument's sake, would have had 20 players, 20-man squad, which I believe more than that, probably they have 30. But it's a new club, new to Premier League, so you're not expecting them to have a deep squad, people. But 7 from 20 players would have left. So they don't need that playing for Chapelton Maroon. So that leaves Chapelton Maroon with 13 players now from 20. Hope my maths is correct. Do you understand? All right. Take it another step. 13-man squad. No. And what I heard too was that the managers and the coaches there at Chapelton Maroons now started to get forward by trying to get players who were out of contract. Getting players on loan from different clubs just to ensure that they come up. That was last week, That was last week. The other side of it, the other side of the coin, and I hope I'm speaking right because there's a lot of discussion about it. On the other side of the coin, people, from that 13-man squad during training last week, 6 of the, was it 6? I think it was 6 or 7 of those 13 players came down with the virus, the flu. They came down with the flu. So that left Chapelton Maroons with only, let's say, 7 players. And in the 7 players, 2 are goalkeepers. So they are left with 5 outfield players. Oh my God. as a coach, how do you work that out? Now, I was told that the management of Chapelton Maroons have, got some information. They call persons from JFF. They share their experiences. They share the situation. They actually send them by email. The president of the Clarendon FA was involved. And some of these players who they have gotten, they were unable to play on Sunday because of the transfer rules, or what was left from the transfer rules. Right? So, that now is another story. I was told that Chapelton Maroons even got doctors, or get the doctor, so they could provide evidence that these players were sick. All that information, I was told as well, all that information was sent to the JFF. Or maybe the competitions director of the JFF. But yet still, nobody sees it fit, whether it's from the JFF, the PFJL, just saying, to reach out to Chapelton during last week, prior to the match on Sunday. The question I would ask now, is it Chapelton Maroons' responsibility to call Mount Pleasant to say, hey, we will not be honoring this match because we don't have any players? Or is it the Jamaica Premier League Association, or the PFJL, or is it JFF responsibility to inform? But no information then was sent. A matter of fact, I was told that the competition organizer, the president of the competition committee, so to speak, said that the match will not put off. They will have to play the match. Because they believe that Chapelton Maroons have enough players for the game. Even though the Chapelton Maroons management and staff has written to them via email to share their experiences or their situation. You see, most times when you have these drama situation, it's best to have both parties in a discussion. So I will not form a lot of conclusion. I will not form my own conclusion here tonight. But what I want to do is just to take it from the perspective what I have heard. And believe me, people, my sources are credible. They are credible. All right, Mr. Lee. Question from Mr. Lee. Did they fire Lenny without a plan? Bad management. Mr. Lee, I don't think the aspect of a plan is the issue, sir. I don't think so. Right around the world, most clubs, when they fire coaches, is after them fire the coach, I'm going to look another coach. No club would have expected that you fire a coach and 7 players leave with the coach. As I said, they were able to leave because those players did not sign a contract. You see what I mean? So the same thing inadvertently what Lenny hits out on the JFF to say that, oh, you're only allowing 5 players to play because they were not contracted. No, he was able to use that uncontracted players to move with him. You see what I mean? I have a point to make on those movements of players, but I'm going to hold it first. We're not going to get into that press release. So that was the background information coming out of Chapelton Maroons. They had players left the club. Players went sick through a virus. And so they were unable to field a team. All right? So Mr. Lee, Lenny say his players coming with him, as it was he and the boys took them up from Bush League. Mr. Lee, they should have waited until the end of the season to fire him. Let me tell you something, Mr. Lee. I you know my take when it comes to firing a coach or I get rid of a coach. If performance are not there, and that's what I have seen in the EPL. Put it this way. We don't know the full understanding. We don't know the full reason for Chapelton Maroons to fire Lenny. We don't know. And we probably need that information too, which hopefully I'll get. But I am not really digging to the firing or the what would you say now, the departure of Coach Hyde. What I am talking about now is the fact that Chapelton Maroons were unable to put a team out because of these circumstances which the JFF would have learned about prior to the game. But my belief, the JFF at that point apparently never believed Chapelton Maroons. So they play tough. And hence the result of what happened Sunday. So no game played on Sunday. Mount Pleasant, to have travelled over 2 hours from St. Ann. Yes. Travelled over 2 hours to Maypen. And there and then the match commissioner, along with the other referees, officiating referees, decided to call the game off. So they must have sent a report to the JFF committee. Or, this is one thing I also want to know, people. Based on this, who first should take action? Is it the JFF or the Premier League Association? Am I getting this thing right? With Premier League Association and PFJL, Professional Football, of Jamaica League. Is that so? Who makes that decision? Who first should have gotten involved in terms of, mediating or dealing with the issue with Chapelton Maroons? Yet to find that out. But guess what? Let me go through the press release, people. Let me go through the press release. And it says, for immediate release. For immediate release. The competitions committee of the JFF has handed down sanctions to Chapelton Maroons who failed to turn up for their JPL fixture versus Mount Pleasant FC at the Effortville Community Center on Sunday, January 22. As I said before, that was yesterday. No, these are the sanctions. These are the sanctions. All right, Kevin. So you say it's the JFF first. All right, thank you very much. All right, good. Kevin, help me out here, Mr. Kevin, because I need you now. I'm going to call on you to assist me. This is the first sanction, people, and this is it. For breach of Article 7.5 and 6, the game has been awarded to Mount Pleasant by a score of 3-0. Chapelton Maroons FC has also been fined $200,000. This payment must be made on or before Friday, February 3. I hope you are seeing it very clearly on the screen. Read for yourself. Read for yourself, people. So Damien is saying that the PFJ is responsible for the operation of the league, but JFF deals with the running of the league. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Morris. Now let's look at this again. Let me read again, people. The breach of Article 7.5 and 6 of the game has been awarded to Mount Pleasant FA by a score of 3-0. Chapelton Maroons FC has also fined $200,000, and this payment again must be made on or before Friday, February 3. All right. Fear. If that is the situation, fear with me. Fear. Because they never turn up for the game. So they breached that 7.5 and 6 article. However, Mr. Morrison, help me here because I have a copy that I have downloaded, the JFF disciplinary code. And I'm trying to pick out those article numbers. And right now I'm unable to, because Article 7, and I can't find Article 7.5. But Article 7 speaks of member association disciplinary regulations. And it goes and speaks that parish associations are requested to adopt their provisions to the code so as to harmonize disciplinary regulation. So the 0.5 aspect of it I'm not seeing, and the 6. All right? So help me out there, my boss. Please and thanks. All right? That's what I'm looking at. All right, Mr. Lee, those are Lenny kids. I'm going to use them to build another team. Clarendon College Warriors. This is, all right, Damien, I said, this is from the competition's rules and regulations. You mean what I read or the rules that you're talking about? All right, I'm going to look for it then, sir. You said this is download the competition rules. Okay, boss, no problem. So, let me get that because I need it. You need to help me there, sir. So it's the JFF competition rules, sir. No. There are some aspect of the sanctions that I don't agree with. And let me not say agree with. It's not clear to me. Or it's too vigorous. All right? Good. All right, let me see if this is the one. All right, so Article 7.5. All right, so let me go into our Article 7.5. I got it, Mr. Morrison. So Article 7.5, and tell me if this is right, because the behavior of the bench at the game shall determine a sanction in accordance with the laws of the game and the JFF disciplinary committee. So Article 7, it's actually dealing with deportment conduct of the official players on the bench. I know about the rules, when you forfeit a game that you lost by 3 clear goals, and that's clear right across. I know about that rules. What I want to do, I just want to arm myself with the full information of the articles that is made reference to in the press release. That's all. So help me again, Mr. Morris. I'm seriously depending on you here. Article 7, and it mentioned point 5. All right. So it's Article 7.5 and 6. So I figure it's Article 6 now that are part of it. That says withdrawal, punctuality, and penalty for failing to play. That's Article 6. But I think it should be Article 6 and 7.5. But it's the other way around it was written. Article 6 has 6 points. And 6.1 says withdrawals which are notified less than 10 days before the opening date of the competition. All right. So that's withdraw from the competition. All right. A club withdrawing after the start of the competition shall automatically be fined $100,000 and forfeiture of entry fees. All right. Okay. The club shall also be referred to the Complaints and Disciplinary Committee for further penalties. That I understand. The JFF Executive Committee and the advisor of the Competitions Committee may nominate a club or clubs to replace a club or clubs withdrawing from the competition. The clubs nominated should have participated in the Premier Promotional League, yes, or the playoff. Okay, fine, good. And people remember this is done 2002, 2003. And where we at now? 2023. So this is a 20-year thing. No problem. All right. I want to go further to find out where this issue. Teams failing to report for a game. So this is 6.5 now, people. This is 6.5. Teams failing to report for a game except in the case of force. Right? This massacre acceptable by the competitions committee shall be fined $30,000. The team may also be referred to the Complaints and Disciplinary Committee for further actions to be taken in accordance with Article 69 of the JFF Code. All right, so here with that say, fail to report for a game, there's a $30,000 charge. All right. If a club refuses to outline or leave the ground before the end of the match, if a club return to continue playing, all right, so this wouldn't have nothing to do with Maroons, because they never did this, so they never leave before time or before the end of the match, right? So we don't have to read that one. So, Kevin, come with me now, boss. Can I call you on phone for you to help me with these rules? Let me know. In this article, in Article 6.6, yes, there is a mention of the 3 goals, the 3 points and 3 goals rules. All right? That's in Article 6. But the 7.5, I don't see how it comes into this effect. You following me, people? For breach of Article 7.5, and I'm saying to you people, 7.5 is saying this. The behavior of the bench at the game shall be determined and sanctioned in accordance with the laws of the game and the JFF. You understand? But there were no bench. That's what I'm saying. All I'm saying. There was no bench. So I believe the article, the mention of 7.5 to me, don't necessary. Am I right, Kevin? Talk to me, Kevin. All right. He will get to me. So that's the first sanction, people. So again, they lose 3 points to Mount Pleasant and they are fined $200,000. People, for all the fines that I have read so far that deals with this from Article 6, that amount that is mentioned is far below this $200,000. I have seen a $30,000. I've seen $10,000. I've seen $60,000. So 60 plus 30 is 90 plus 10 is $100,000. So right throughout Article 6, it's $100,000 in all different points, add up to $100,000. So this is what I want to understand. How the $200,000 come into play? Again, people, I'm not saying JFF is wrong. I just want to understand, because when I speak about these things, me no want to bramble and me no want to carry wrong information out there. All right? Remember, the Saudichress channel is all about sports, entertainment, and education. So I want to educate myself, and by so doing, others who don't understand like myself will learn. All right. So get me clear on that, people. All right. Let us see now the second rule. All right, the second rule. In keeping with the regulations, a further 6 points has been deducted from the club's current point standing. The club must also compensate for any damages or losses suffered by Mount Pleasant FA and the JFF up to a minimum of $150,000. Invoices will be provided as soon as they are available. Wow. All right. Again, let me try and understand this, Mr. Morrison. You are the boss. You are the closest person now in the chat or on the show to JFF. In keeping with the regulations, a further 6 points has been deducted from the club's current point standing. The club must also compensate for any damages or losses suffered by Mount Pleasant and the JFF up to a maximum of $150,000. Invoices will be provided as soon as they are available. Now, what if Mount Pleasant alone provide invoice that is amount to $200,000 for damages? Food for thought. That's a question. Maybe rhetoric. The JFF can provide all the invoices they want because they will provide an invoice for referee. And it makes no sense because all of these games would have planned for. Good? So I don't think JFF could charge Mount Pleasant for referee fees. Not at all. I wouldn't agree with that. One, because the match was not played, the referees were there, but the points were awarded to Mount Pleasant. All right. That's my take, people. What other damages or losses could the JFF face with? Tell me. What other damages? Kevin, as a past referee, a former FIFA referee, a man who is still doing training with referees, assessing referees. Let me hear this from you. What damages or losses could the JFF encountered for that game that was not played on Sunday? Help me out here. What damage or damages? No, tell me. What could the JFF lost? What would they lose coming out of the game that played on Sunday? All right. Kevin gone asleep. But let me go further into it though, people. So I'm saying a maximum of $150,000 in damages that Chapelton Maroons will have to pay. Maximum. It could very well be less than $20,000 too. Technically. But there was no report of any damages from Mount Pleasant. And I can't see how Mount Pleasant would have lost anything. What invoice? Because the fact of the matter, they went to Effortville to play a game. That game could have gone any way, or three ways. They could have, Mount Pleasant could have lost. It could have drawn. They could have won Mount Pleasant too. So you follow me? So they go down there, never play a game, but then come back with 3 points. If you ask me, really and truly, Mount Pleasant, that's a 2-way win for them. They get 3 points and they never play. What else, people? And maybe somebody from Mount Pleasant can assist me. Mr. Clark, are you in? What Mount Pleasant could have lost? What damages? I probably will have to look at damages in a different sector. I don't know. I want to know. What damages Mount Pleasant or the JFF could have suffered on Sunday? All right. So many questions. Tamika Hall. It is unfortunate and the situation is being abused by the authorities. Strong word, Tamika. I agree with you to some extent, Tamika. And don't think by any way or form, people. Yes, I'm coming to you. Don't think by any way or form that I am supporting Mount Pleasant for not playing that game. No, I'm not supporting Mount Pleasant for not playing. Based on their situation, they have a real sense. They have a very good reasons for their action. They have very good reasons for their actions. So let me call Mr. Morrison so we can get some closer insights of how the JFF handed down their penalties. I wonder if this is a frustrated penalty kick. Boy, I tell you. So, good night, Kevin. Thank you very much for joining, man.
Good night to you and your viewers and listeners.
Yes, sir. Good night. Good night. I'm sure they're happy to hear you. So, yes, sir. Help me out here.
Right.
Help me out here. I'm your well-learned student. So we were there.
Okay. So
go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I said that you were here while I was going through the sanctions, so to speak, and also the articles that they make mention of. One of the article that I want to take you through, sir, hopefully, let me go back to it. The first article.
Where you look, what article is that from? Which of the, are you looking at the PF, the PFAJ Premier League rules? Are you looking at something else? What are you looking at?
All right, so that's a good point. That's what I want to take me through. I'm looking at the Jamaica Football Federation rules and regulations relating to the JFF. Well, Lord have mercy. This is a JFF Premier League. It's an old one. You're following me?
Yeah, man.
Good. Is this the correct one?
No.
All right. So which one should I go to? Give me
Go
the
to the the PFAJ
Yes.
regulation.
So is
And
it,
I am on it now. And under Article 7.5, it says if a club does not report for a match,
yes.
except in cases of force majeure recognized by the PFAJ Operations Committee, or if it refuses to continue to play or leave the stadium before the end of a match, the team shall be considered as having lost the match, and 3 points should be awarded to its opponent with a score of 3-0 or more if in the case of any abandoned match, the winning team has already reached a high score at the time the guilty team leaves the field. The guilty club should be fined a maximum of $200,000. In a case of selected live TV game, the guilty club should be fined a maximum of $1 million for failing to honor a fixture. But if that game was a TV game, they would have been fined $1 million.
All right. Hold on. Kevin,
Let me go to the second article now, which is, let me go to the second article now, which is point 6.
Yes.
It says the guilty club in Article 7.5 as a general rule should be deducted a further 6 points and should be paid compensation for any damages or losses suffered by the other club and by the PFAJ up to a maximum of $150,000. The club may also be referred to the Complaints and Disciplinary Committee for further action to be taken in accordance with the Article 70 of the Jamaica Football Federation Disciplinary Code.
All right. You hear that, people? I'm trying to find it. I'm not seeing it yet, though. PFAJ regulations. That's it, right? All right. So we understand that. So we are seeing that where the 7.5 rules, thank you for that correction. I still don't find it, but let me work with you. Where the 7.5 article and 6, that's clear. And as I said before, we know that rule, most of us, if not all. All right? No. So that's clear now to me. All right? People, do you hear? I hope you hear that. And that is clear to you. All right, sir. Thank you very much. Let's look at 2 now. At sanction 2. In keeping with the regulations, a further 6. And which regulation are we talking about? 7.5 or 6? The 6, right? That has to do with damages. No. This I want.
7.6.
Yes, this is what I want to ask you now, sir. What type of damages? What do they talk about when they say damages that is related to JFF and Mount Pleasant? What type of damages or losses could they be talking about there? Are the regulation speaks to?
All right. So what are they talking about? Say something happened where maybe a fight or anything happened and something is damaged with the stadium or the changing room or anything. That's what they're talking about. Say for argument's sake, the home money or valuable stuff.
Okay.
Just then that's what they're talking about in terms of damages or losses.
Okay. So, based on what we have heard or what we have learned, basically, it mentioned a maximum of $150,000.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Right. Well, the investigation, I believe, would have still continued, but no information as it relates to any damages there. As well, although it is clear, it said if. It says that the club must compensate for any damages or loss suffered by Mount Pleasant or whatever the case is. And so far, we have not heard any. I don't know.
No.
Right. But let's say, for argument's sake, just to put this in a perspective, if Mount Pleasant should claim with receipts or invoice like what is stated, an invoice for $151,000 for damages and losses, how would that be dealt with?
$1 more?
$1,000 more, because remember it's saying this $150,000 would have been between.
$1,000 more.
Yeah, this would have been between JFF and Mount Pleasant. So let's say both parties claim, but Mount Pleasant claim $151,000.
Well, they're only going to get $150,000 based on the regulations, unless the club want to pay good courtesy and just to have good relationship or whatever it may be, they pay the $151,000. But if the club decided that that this is what the rules and regulations said that we should pay, then they are within their right to pay the $150,000 unless the JFF can convince them with maybe more receipts.
Okay.
That's a different case.
All right. So, Mr. Donaldson in the chat.
Before, because I'm not the.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to chip in and just to help your listeners and your viewers.
Yes.
So I just want to say that I used to be a commission. Well, I used to be and the South Central country and also vice president at the Crown FA.
Okay.
And I'm saying that this is something that organizers take very, very serious. Yeah, when a team don't show for a game, that's a your sponsors turn up to a game, and when they turn up to a game, then you don't have one team turn up to play a game. So you have to put heavy sanctions that team understand that, listen, for you not to show for a game, a sponsor can lose. I mean, a competition can lose their sponsors. And that's why you see those actions have been taken, and those actions were in the rules and regulations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even at the Clarendon FA, it is a part of the regulation at the Clarendon FA, right? So it is a very act by any team, and that's the reason why the sanction is so heavy in terms of 6 points deducted. Very, very serious action. Teams have to understand that they have to honor their success.
All right.
So it is very important. that it happened to Chapelton Maroons, but other teams will learn from this exercise. And this is something that it is in the rules and regulations from day one. It's not something that the JFF or the PFH come up with. It has been there for a while. All right?
All right. Very good. All right. Based on my argument prior to this sanctions that were read, I have gotten information. I don't know if you heard about the actions from Chapelton Maroons prior to the game on Saturday, coming through the week, where they have lost players through people moving out of the club as players, and also some players were felt sick with a virus. They also, again, told me that they, again from credible source, I believe, coming out of the club, that they have provided even medical certificates as evidence that 6 or 7 of these players went down with the virus between Thursday and Friday. Have you heard anything like that?
No, I've not heard anything like that. But just to say that as competition or the former competition organizers,
yes.
If you have a club, how many players are Premier League club allowed to register?
I think it is 30.
Right, 30. And how many players came down with the flu? If the players leave the club, that is not a reason for you to get a postponement.
No.
That is an internal thing. Let us talk about players sick.
All right.
So how many players sick?
All right, they had 7.
7 from 30 give you what?
23.
Right, you still have a squad to play.
Yes.
You have 22 or 23.
All right, so hold on. So the 23 from the 7 sick left 23, and 7 left how much?
7 leave where? How you mean leave?
There are 7 players who left the club.
Yeah, but that is not the PFH
No man, it's still
responsibility.
yes. What I'm saying, this is what the club forced me.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Let us try to strike a balance here.
Yes.
What I'm saying, right, and I'm just being fair, it doesn't matter which club it was.
Mm-hmm.
If the players leave the club, that is not something that has to do with the PFHA. That's a personal thing between the club and the players.
I agree.
So the club and the players have to sort out that issue. But you cannot write to the organizers asking them to postpone a game because 5 players allegedly leave the coach. You know what?
No man.
And provide doctor certificate, etc., then that's a legitimate case where you can request, but not on the basis of players leaving the club because the coach leaves. You can request postponement. That don't constitute a postponement.
Fear, Kevin.
That's right.
But I am just using that as numbers based on their situation. All right, fine. Let me skip that since you have mentioned that. And if that's a rule, that's a rule. But let's say this now. Every club are permitted to register 30 players. I am not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many. I'm not sure if 30. I'm not sure if 30 or 35, but because I'm not really in
I think it is 30.
Administration again, so.
I think it is 30. But even if it is 30 or 35, Kevin, Chapelton Maroons is a new club to the Premier League. And me almost sure, I'm guessing though, but I'm almost sure that these new clubs would not be able to find 30 players for the start of the competition to register. Because a little birdie told me that I think they had mostly 22 players they registered and would have hoping for this transfer cycle or the transfer window for them to get some other players. So in a nutshell, I could say probably they only had 20 players registered. If Again,
All
if
right.
you know,
So
we're just gonna put this in a scenario now. I'm not trying to create a scene or to make it look bad on one side and good on the other. What I want to understand, if this club had registered, regardless of the club as you mentioned, has registered 20 players or 21 players, fine, that's their business. So 7 of which took sick. You follow me?
yeah, man, I'm following you. But
Left
I
with
don't want to go down that road either because you know why I don't want to go down that road
yes,
either?
yes, yes.
Because the PFAJ
Mm-hmm.
will not allow any club, if you are talking about forward thinking, because you have to look at what can happen later on. And I don't think the PFAJ would in their right sense to allow a Premier League club to register 20 players without saying to them, hey, your registration is incompleted, you need 10 more players, and without those players being added, your registration is incompleted, hence you cannot participate in the competition because it's your registration. So I don't think that the PFAJ will allow any Premier League team to register 20 players.
So,
And looking down the road, what can happen? I don't think so.
so are you
I
saying to
think
me?
that they register 30 players.
Are you saying to me that there is a plus and a minus then? So you have a minimum number of players to register and a maximum.
Yeah, man, there always be a minimum to register.
Fine. But this is what I am saying, Kevin. If it is 30, I don't think the minimum could have far above 20. We're just if, you know, because it's not stated in their rules or regulation either. Am I right?
Yeah, man, it is in the rules and regulations. I maybe have to look for it, but it is there maybe in the first article.
We need to
So
find it.
while you are let me go back and see what it says. Let me go back and see what it says about registration. Maybe what article?
Entries for competition.
Entries, right? Entries for competition, and that's article 2.
Article 3.
Is article 3?
Yes.
Yeah. Article 3.
This would have put everything to bed, sir.
Well, each club must be parish association.
So while Kevin is searching for that, people, again, we want to thank you very much for staying with us. And you have been doing very well with the like button. I think I would ask more. So please hit the like button, people, as you come along. Let me just take a few in the chat while Kevin is getting that straight for me. As it were, Mr. Lee, wow, the Maroons get hit hard. That's so true, Sir Lee. Mr. Donaldson, Article 7.7. No appeals may be lodged against these decisions. That harsh to him, boss? Well, it is the rules, eh? So what if the club didn't have or register 30 players? Well, that's the question I asked, and we are going through that now. We're getting through the rules to see if we can put that to bed. Travis, yes, he's saying that at Ramai, in the JPL, it's mandatory to register 30 players. All right, so that is Travis is saying that. Travis, thank you very much for that information. We are trying to locate that in the rules and regulation so we can put this argument to bed, because we just want to have these things clear and so we can fully understand what happened and how do we move forward, because this must have been an example, even though this club would have been hit very hard. You ready for we now? Ready for us, sir?
I'm not seeing it in the article 3. I don't know if it is somewhere else.
Well, that
it should come under Article 3 that speaks to entries for the competition.
Mm-hmm. Well, Article 4 speaks to entries and fees too. So I don't know if it is there.
Yeah.
Registration appointment. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for it. I'm gonna put on the organization of
No
no, it's an
problem.
organization of competition.
All right, it is here.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for
It
it.
is on Article 4. Article
Right.
4.8. So, Article 4.8 says each club is required to
Right.
submit a list of maximum of 30 players, of which a minimum of 7 shall be born on or after January 1997. Failure to adhere to this requirement shall result in an automatic fine of $30,000. The guilty club should also be referred to the appropriate disciplinary body. So a minimum, a minimum of 4 players of foreign nationality may be registered for each club. All 4 players may be on the field at any given time. All right. A maximum of 20 club officials. Clubs will be allowed to submit changes to their registration list between the hours of 9 and 2 p.m. Mondays to Thursday each week. All right. Okay, so what that is saying, Mr. Kevin, is that each club is required to submit a list of maximum of 30 players, of which a minimum of 7 shall be. But you see, it still don't give us a minimum number of players, do you know?
Yeah, but what it says though,
Yes, go ahead.
30 with the 7 players, whatever. Yeah. So if the club don't want to be fined, so they are going to do what the rule says. So I assume that all the teams in the National Premier League now would have adhered to this rule, and that's why they are in.
Yes, but
Because they would have referred to our next committee who would have said, hey, this is the rule they need to adhere to. I'm not sure how they're going to start 30 players, man.
yeah, man. But Kevin, what I am saying, you know, and I really don't want to push you around that side, but if you're gonna look at the technical aspect of it, which I am trying to figure out, and why I'm saying that when I listen to international clubs, especially coming from the EPL, where week in, week out, you hear the commentators and so speak about depth of squad and people don't have so many players, and regardless, you get what I'm saying? Which dimension that you can use homegrown players, a certain amount of homegrown players must be registered, and vice versa. So they will meet that. But in terms of players who you can depend on to really make your final cut, some clubs cannot afford to have those players. But I am saying then, if you get a list of a maximum, I think there should be leverage where a minimum is concerned. Because what they are, the rule, what it's saying, you know, is maximum. You know, it says not a minimum number, but it gives you a maximum. You can't register more than 30 players. So I believe that this Article 4.8 needs a little adjustment. The only minimum they mention is the age limit for 7 players, which are not, I guess, would not be contracted to the players, to the club.
So if you are seeing no minimum, it means that you must register 30 players then, Saudi.
No, sir.
That's what it means, you know.
I don't think that's what it means. It left for us to infer or to take it at that. What I am saying, when you have a maximum, means you can't go over.
Wait. Sorry, what I'm
Mm-hmm.
If you are interpreting the rule as to how I am interpreting it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first part of the rule says that you register a maximum of 30 players, right?
Yes.
The second part of the rule says which of the 37 must be players born whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the third part of it now says if you don't adhere to those two, you will be fined and referred to.
It never said to those two,
So it therefore means, based on my what the last part says about the fining, what it says. You can just go back to it for me.
Yes, sir, I will.
I don't want this to be the main topic of the session tonight, you know. Or it is.
It is the main topic, but we just want to get through. As me say now, Kevin, when we have this discussion, my thing is not just about me. You know, I'm putting out there for everybody who have their own interpretation and who can understand. You understand? Because as we are saying no, this particular rule, it may be clear to all football administrators. Maybe, you know.
I get you. Yeah,
maybe.
Right, I understand.
But as you are saying, if we are actually interpreting the rules, the main aspect of the 30 players, which people adhere to, which came out recently that affected this same club, you know, which a minimum of 7 shall be born 1997, you know.
Right, because what they are doing with that rule is that to ensure that the clubs play the youth players in a.
Yes, so they want young players in it. You must have some young players.
Right.
So this is what I am saying, Sir Kevin. It's a bit broad. If you give me a maximum, but you never say a minimum. Because what I am saying, you know, a club cannot register 31 players. But I don't think there's a problem if a club register 29. Based on what the rules is saying. It would have been unfortunate if a club cannot register the 30 or cannot register more than 25.
Yeah, but so while we understand what you are saying, Sadi, but you also have to understand the whole dynamics around the registration, right?
Yeah.
And while you have a number that you cannot pass, they are saying to the clubs, and what they would have done why they don't put a minimum. It's just like you have a football game and you don't put that teams have 10 minutes grace period. Because if you tell the teams that come to a game or you have 30 minutes grace period, the team is going to use it. But what happens is that when the game is actually scheduled to play and the team turn up and one team don't turn up, then the referee will use discretion. So what they don't want to do is to put a minimum of 20 and a maximum of 30 and the team register 20. And then because of the rule later on, that rule affected them. So they don't put a minimum. But if a team sends in the registration with 28, of course, they will say to the team, say, hey, you need to put 2 more, but they're going to use their discretion to allow the team to play with 28. And all I'm saying is that all of these things are happening inside the administration room, right, which we don't know about. I'm just saying, if it happened, I just gave you a scenario in terms of grace period where people used to put grace period in their pictures.
Yes.
That team have half an hour grace period. You remember those?
Yeah, man.
Put grace period in your picture.
We used to love the grace period.
You don't see anymore in the picture. Right, so that don't use anymore. So it's the same thing I'm trying to say now. That they will not put a minimum number in the thing to give the team them that impression and say, hey, you can put 20. No, 30. But if a team come in with 25, you will say, hey, what's up, man? And you may allow the team, right? Because that's a discretionary decision. But you will not put it in a rule or regulation because the team can hold you with.
Okay, that's
because
right.
It's a rule. So I hope this will help to clear up a little bit of what I'm trying to say.
It has cleared a whole lot, sir. Thank you very much for that clarity aspect of it. And so what we want to understand and what I hope that we bring forward to our viewers and listeners is that in every aspect, in every situation, there are 2 sides or probably 3 sides to the coin. But we need to also understand the aspect of it. All right? So let me just go back to a little of what Kevin said, people, just to let it clear. So we are not.
So good night, Charlie, and I will listen. That's it for me. Good night. I'm going to keep on listening.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much, Mr. Morrison. Thanks very much for joining and to bring clarity to these information. Here he brought, of course, the issue of the rules and regulation, which I started out with one that was incorrect. And so, Mr. Morrison, who is very knowledgeable on these points. All right. So, yes, Donaldson, I don't see a minimum either. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's sort of ambiguous. And we all know, if you, again, people, everybody think differently. But if I'm going to put a maximum situation, or a maximum, using a number and maximizing something, especially where it comes to rules, I believe if there's no minimum, then it is too broad. It left to chance and to people interpretation. That's just all I'm saying. All right, so we clear up on the two first sanctions that was, met out by Chapelton Maroons. Number 3, finally, the club will be referred to the JFF disciplinary committee for further actions to be taken in accordance with Article 70 of the JFF disciplinary code. So again, I don't think it is the same disciplinary code that I am looking at now. This is the PFAJ rules and regulations, people. So what I'm going to try, I'm going to go through this, see if there what it speaks to in Article 70. And we will definitely get it. People, I'm so happy for this information tonight. I'm so happy for Mr. Morrison, Kevin Morrison, who won past FIFA referee and referee assessor, that he was able to bring about some clarity to this. And as I said, it's best when you get information in and out, but based on rules and regulation, once it is there in black and white, there is little discretion. But in the scope of things and in for development of football, I believe some level of discretionary measures sometimes need to put in play before we hand out these judgments. Again, I always believe that judgment like these should have handed out at a special meeting. At a court. A football court or a hearing. No, not a court, a hearing. That is the right term. A football hearing. So the Chapelton Maroons, as early as today or tomorrow, could have called in by the JFF committee to a hearing, an emergency hearing. And then that's just my view, people. That's my view. That's not the view of Chapelton Maroons. That's not the view of JFF, which you know are not JFF. But if a team, and this is what Article 7 reads, people. If a team refuses to play match, or to continue playing one which has been begun, or fails to report for a match or to continue playing one which has begun, it will be sanctioned with minimum fine of $50,000 and will be in principle forfeit the match. All right. So now, in all, people, in all, Chapelton Maroons may be fined up to $400,000. May be fine. But what is interesting though, the first two sanctions are not communicated in a verbal setting. Mark you, the rules are there, I'm not saying that. But I believe when it comes on to sanction, just maybe, for the good of all and for the purpose that we all serve and what we want to see football develop in our own country, I strongly believe that Chapelton Maroons should have summoned to a meeting where these are handed down. Why a meeting? It is. At least Chapelton Maroon would have been given a chance to state their reasons. For such action. You get me? And then, just maybe, for interpretation of the rules, and also what I would believe as discretionary measures, based on such reasons, then the fines may be different. Lesson, or at least fine and not points. But based on the rules prior to this though, I agree with first, the 3 points and 3 goals being awarded to Mount Pleasant. That is clear, no doubt. Secondly, the 6 points. The 6 points being deducted from the club's current points standing. Let me see if I can find how much points Chapelton Maroons has presently in the Jamaica Premier League. Because you know what happened? If my memory serves me right, people, there should be the points that would be deducted based on what they have. But let me see. Chapelton Maroons are 12 in the table, in the 14-team table. 10 games played. And they have 8 points. So they will be deducted 2 points. No, they will be left with 2 points. Oh my God, no. This can't be right. Help me out again, Mr. Morrison. You could text this time around. 8 points, they are with 8 points, and they will be deducted a further. They will be deducted a further 6 points, people. I don't say it working. Sorry about that, people. Let me get back this thing on track. Yes. So, as I was saying, they have 8 points and they'll be deducted 6 points from the 8 points. So they will be left with 2 points. Points that are very hard to come by these two promoted teams, people. Now, let's look at the mix of things. And if there's anyone from the Chapelton Maroons who are watching or who believe that they can offer some information on their part. But people, I just want to say, these measures are tough. And they are tough not because Chapelton Maroons did not follow protocol or breach. Yes, there are internal issues in the club. But what is the support? What sort of support JFF or the PFAJ can lend to clubs who are suffering from these internal issues? Tell me. Is there no way that a team in this light, which I believe it is very serious, and I think the JFF needs to get past the sanction. I think the JFF and the PFAJ the PFAJ, more so, right now, needs to get past these sanctions. Why? There's a critical component of this issue, or components, where the players who have left, as much as they are not contracted players, they have a sense of responsibility. For them to just take up themselves and leave, there should be sanction on those players too, even though it is an internal factor. What I'd love to know from a legal standpoint is Chapelton Maroon have a point there which they can put across to the JFF or to the PFAJ to assist them in bringing the players who have just stepped away to books. Again, the funny thing about it, people, is that those players were not contracted players, but they were players of Chapelton Maroons. They are on the books of Chapelton Maroons. And this led me to another question. Are those players who were not contracted by Chapelton Maroons, are those players who were being paid a salary to play? This is another question I'm going to ask. And I would love to get that information very soon. If, regardless of the package, if they had ever been compensated, and I want you to listen to me clearly, my view, if for any reason these players were compensated any time at all, 1, 2, or 3 times, they owed Chapelton Maroon much more respect than that. I understand the level of parental guidance or the guardian, so to speak, which I believe is in Mr. Hyde's corner. I guess he's responsible for them. But I will say this. With that action, where Mr. Hyde decided to take the players away from that club because he has moved away, I really think, again, that is immature, it is selfish, and also it sends a strong negative signal to the development of football. What say you? So again, Mr. Morris coming in, is the internal issues are something that the PFJ or JFF can help with? I am not sure, Mr. Morris, but listen to the question that I am asking. What level of support, and neither you nor the JFF or the PFAJ, if can tell me that there are no levels of support to clubs who actually have internal issues. So the question I'm asking, or question that I have asked, are there any support from the JFF or the PAJ or PFAJ lends to clubs who have internal issues? Let me use a different scenario as it relates to support. What if tomorrow morning Club A should file bankruptcy? They are unable to find the money to travel to the next game. Could the JFF provide any form of support? Could the PFAJ provide any form of support? I want to know. So this is the question that I ask, and I will continue to ask. what levels of support does the JFF or the PFAJ, yes, the PFAJ lends to clubs where they have internal issues. And I'm just saying this because this whole situation with Chapelton Maroons now has opened our minds, has opened our thoughts, and also give us the light now is being shining on this whole Premier League thing. What is happening? How do we understand? And so people, hopefully, and I'm saying this, I'll do my very best to get the CEO of the PFAJ on Friday, here on the Saudichress show. We want these things to be ironed out because, as much as how we feel or have felt, really sad and bad for Chapelton Maroons, there is a level of responsibility which I believe Chapelton Maroon did not take to its full effect. Yes? Are coming back. Good night from Mr. Terry Robinson. You're late, boss. What's up, boss? Like you all are early sleep and come back in, man. Respect, Mr. Gibbs. Good night. I am late to the show. What is the major headline? All right, Gibbs. The major headline, Gibbs. The major headline I want you to see. And the major headline is that the JFF has handed down sanctions, 3 sanctions to Chapelton Maroons for not turning up for their game yesterday, Sunday, for a game against Mount Pleasant. Yes. And the press release, it's unset, so when you see it, you could make your own thing from that. However, the big thing, we were looking at the aspects of the sanctions. Not trying to cover for Chapelton Maroons at all. No, I'm not trying that. What I am trying to get through, is there any reason? Did Chapelton Maroon have any reason at all for not turning up at the game? Of course they do. Are these reasons enough? Based on the JFF competitions committee, no, because these are the sanctions. For your information and for others who probably just joining or never heard, my take, I strongly believe, again, my opinion, my view, that for these sanctions, I think the JFF competitions committee should have called in representative of Chapelton Maroon to an emergency meeting. And by so doing, they listened to them, handed down these things. But this is a press release. The same way I get this press release, I suspect is the same way Chapelton Maroons received it. Leave it at that. So that's our major issue, Tyree. That's take the bulk of our discussion, and we're trying to get this thing straight out of the bat. This is where I have a problem with Chapelton Maroons' action. Thinking about it now, and prior to this, Chapelton Maroons, if they had 7 players, only if they had 7 players, I think they should have turned up for the game. Remember now, people, the game could have started with 7 players by rules. Well, I may look in the PFAJ rules and regulation. Maybe that is not so. But for my little knowledge of football and the number of players to start a game, it is 7. So they could have turned up to the game with their 7 players. So people going to take me to task now. If it was my team, if I was coaching that team, and based on the situation, the fact that I was seeking assistance to get in players by writing, communicating with other clubs, getting some go-aheads with some loans and some uncontracted players to come in and play for us, but couldn't have done so because of the time factor between Thursday and Saturday. But I would have turned up for the game and start the game with my 7 players. And so this is what lends, people. And don't get me wrong, we have to be, the reality is the reality. And I'm talking about Jamaica. I'm not going international because I don't have all those things and I'm not sure these things really happen internationally. But in Jamaica, I would have found a way to settle this. I would have played that game. But I don't think my team could have survived 5 minutes of that game. I really don't think so. Again, there are ways of means of getting things done, and you have to play by the rules, and sometimes you have to use the weaknesses of the rules to manipulate the situation. Because it says you cannot have, or a game cannot be played with one team less than 7. Am I right, Mr. Morrison? Is that rule still stand? And if I, in all fairness, and this is not cheating now, if I was the coach of Chapelton Maroons, I would turn up for that game with my 7 players. I will be early, and there and then you could communicate to the match officials. You only have 7 players. For whatever reasons. Whether it be internal or external, you turn up with your 7 players. Then I'm sure that 7 players couldn't last 5 minutes. I wouldn't say what would have done next. Your guess is as good as mine. Think about it, people. So there goes an issue that I believe Chapelton Maroons could have addressed differently. Yes, differently. Again, it is very, very unclear. It is very unclear if the JFF received communique through email or via email from Chapelton Maroons. It was said, and credible source from Chapelton Maroons, that they have emailed the JFF, they have emailed their parish president, they have called, they have sent messages through different medium to the competitions committee chairman. And I'm not privy to call any name right now, so I'll just use the position. And when the responses, or when the personnel from that office responded via email, it was Friday late. And there's a rule that says you could make changes. You can make changes throughout the week between 9 and 2. Yes? So between 9 and 2 Friday, the emails were not responded. So no changes could have been made. Again, people, I don't sure of the situation or what time these emails were sent. Not sure. However, this is the reason I believe the JFF could have called the management or leaders of the Chapelton Maroon Club to an emergency meeting this morning. Since this, they would have had planned. They have been going through over the weekend, people. It must be done over the weekend or early this morning for this press release to be activated. And hence, the same way that that committee would have met, they could have called in these persons to an emergency meeting at their offices. That's just my view. Maybe I'm looking too much as a different aspect of professionalism, so to speak. But this is where we go, people. If we're going to look one way, if we're going to look at things one... Hey, you see, in Jamaica now, many of us, including myself, tend to twist certain things or twist certain rules to suit us. Yeah, man, we do that. Everybody do it. Some people are going to say they don't, but they do it. It's just sad that they don't want to talk about it. Yes, we people, what do you say about that? Yes, Gibbs. So you're asking what happened to the players. So Gibbs are trying to answer you. You're late for class again. Our sanction are going to give to Gibbs for him lateness, man. We'll give him another chance. If he's late the next time, you know it go. Big up Terry Robinson. Chapelton lost a few Maroons. You know, it's a lot of Maroons they lost, Gibbs. Chapelton Maroons has registered, 7 players from the Clarendon College schoolboy football team. Chapelton Maroons, Gibbs, as you have heard, has fired the coach, Lenworth Hyde. Again, we are not too sure what caused Lenny to lose his job. If it is poor performance, or poor relationship among the clubs, I don't know. And these are a lot of things that will have to come out for us to put all of these issues to bed. Because you know what? For the good of what it is, all of us want to see Chapelton Maroons back on the pitch. And you know what happened? I heard Mr. Hill tonight on that station, saying he knows that Chapelton Maroon have no intention of forfeiting the competition. He knows they will be ready for the next game on Sunday. So there must be some communication, people. But we are not hearing all of it. We are just hearing one side, in the sense that the press release. But we're not hearing if there's anything that Chapelton Maroon would have asked for. That is what kind of a bit disturbing to me. Yes, the press release could have stated that Chapelton Maroons could have tried to reach out, but they never followed the protocol. You know, and they would have understood. But again, that is the next topics for discussion. Those are topics for discussion. Again, people, hit the like button. And if this is your first time, welcome to the Saudichress show. Subscribe and you'll be able to participate. So Gibbs, you know, these are what has taken us for the better part of an hour and a half. The Chapelton Maroons did not turn up for the games, hence the JFF disciplinary committee has sanctioned them. Chapelton Maroons have been hit, losing 3-0 to Mount Pleasant yesterday, based on, the rules. And they will be sanctioned or deducted another 6 points from what they have. They are on 8 points. So when JFF take away 6 points from Chapelton Maroons, I thought they left with the same like Falkland. Oh boy, it's sad. It's really sad. But anyway, people, anyway. It's the reality of things. And I'm saying to you, for those persons of the Chapelton Maroon, I would love for you to put across what you have done. Those letters and emails that you have sent to JFF between the Thursday and the Friday, you need to let the media have them. So we can dive into it. We can understand that at least you were trying to communicate. Because what this press release is saying to us right now, you had no communications to JFF. Nothing of that sort was said. So you need to come out of the darkness. You need to come to the light and share your side of the story. Share your side of the story. People, this has been a very warm and welcome discussion. Well, it's been a discussion. I've done most of the talking, but guess what? That is what I'm here for. And for those of you who have participated in the chat, trust me, thank you very much for your participation. I've seen some very, very good questions, and we had made it there. So there are things that I would love for the PFAJ to really talk about. And the question I'm asking people, the question I'll be asking, is it fair to have a maximum and not a minimum? All right? So, Gibbs, good night, man. You're live on the Saudichress show. At least you're late but not forgotten. You are here. Never too late for a show of rain. What say you?
Yes, sir. I'm right here, man, trying to catch up on the news.
I tell you, Gibbs.
With the Chapelton Maroons. What happened, man? I don't understand. What? Lenny Hyde took all the players with him.
All the players that played for Clarendon College, I was told that he took them away with him. So they are no longer a part of the Chapelton Maroons.
So let me ask this question now. Weren't they a part of the registered roster?
Yes, they were.
Weren't they registered as players with the team?
Yes, they were.
So what sort of fine they are set to face? Because they are not contractual players?
No, they are not. And that's the trick about it. Because of their age. And
they can,
right.
They can sign as a professional.
Exactly.
Or semi-pro.
So they can't sign any form of contractual arrangement or agreement with the club. So there's no bonding. The club never owned them.
I can't believe Lenny would do something like that, man.
I think it is
as a long-standing, respectable coach like that, knowing that it's going to affect a team like that, a team that you were once a part of. I can understand you followed with the team, but man,
it's sad, man.
I kind of feel it, man. That's my community, man. I'm from that end, so I kind of happy when I heard that. Well, I was happy when I heard that they made it to the Premier League,
Yes, of
right
course.
Now I have a youth playing from my community and that same team too. From a Clarendon College player too.
Hear them, man.
So we kind of feel it. And the sanctions so hard, man.
Gibbs,
because I saw where they plan to deduct 6 points along with $200,000. That's like three punishment in one. Because you already lost the game 3-0.
Yes.
You are deducted 6 points and then you have to pay $200,000 fine. I don't understand.
But you know that if everything based on the amount of money that Hollander gives, based on the amount of money that is stipulated in the sanction, if Chapelton Maroon don't have any luck, it's $400,000 that they will have to pay up,
I don't understand.
All right. Let me take you back to this thing. The first sanction, right? They said that they breach Article 7.5 and 6. The game
Right.
has awarded to Mount Pleasant with 3-0, right?
3-0, right.
And they will be fined $200,000.
Right.
The payment must be made by February 3.
February 3rd. 3rd.
Yes.
Or, I think a 3rd. I see. Right. February 3rd.
Yes. That's just over a
So
week
what
time.
you're saying, if it's not paid by February 3rd, it's a further sanction.
Yes, and they will be sent to the disciplinary committee of the JFF.
Something wrong somewhere, man. so let me ask you, because I don't want to. I don't think it's a wise idea for me to be talking without information, So I have a lack of knowledge when it comes to certain run-ins at the JFF and the rules and stuff. But what time period a team is given to the committee or the whatever committee there is that organize the games and stuff like that? What time is given to a team? Let's say you're in a situation where you can't make it to the game or you're having some issues, whatever the issue may be. Is there a time limit that you have to inform the JFF to say, okay, all right, we're having a game on Saturday, but we're not going to be able to make it? Because I overheard you talking about some email that was sent from Thursday.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be adequate time for them to at least call them in and say, okay, what is the issue? What is your problem? Let's see how we can assist.
Well, based on the competitions committee, they are saying that those issues that Chapelton Maroon has doesn't warrant a match to be postponed. Based on the fact that they should register 30 players.
Oh, okay.
And the fact that...
And how many players they registered?
Well, that I am not too sure.
Okay.
I was actually trying to pull out some little information to form a little thing, to have a discussion going on. Whereas I think that most new clubs maybe find it difficult to register 30 players.
All right. So let me ask something now. The Clarendon College players, they were registered, right?
Yes.
They were registered as a part of the team, but they weren't contracted to the team.
Good.
So between the players and the Chapelton Maroons, they didn't have that contract signed between them, but they were a part of their roster.
Right.
So all right. So that means then you can play for a Premier League club without signing a contract.
Yes, but the rule.
I assume. Oh.
Yes, but there's a rule to that.
And the JFF wouldn't step in and say, no, you cannot have players on your book unless they sign a contract.
No, man.
They wouldn't come in and say that.
No, because the rule is that you can have 7 players who are not contracted.
Oh, that's another rule. That's what I'm saying. I don't know the rules, Okay, right. I get you. And probably
most
those
times,
were the 7. And probably those were the 7 Clarendon College players.
You're so right. But and most times too, those would have been schoolboys because they won't be able to sign any contract.
But I don't want to believe that Lenny would influence the players not to go and play for the team, though.
Sir?
If that's the case, then I would lose a little bit of my ratings for him, because that would be so distasteful, man.
If there's any other way to put it, I don't know if I can find another adjective or words to say, but what I believe and my statement, what I continue to say, are my word to describe Lenny's action is selfish.
Very much so. Very much so.
And as I said,
very much so.
As I said, Gibbs, I am not even sure what would have caused Maroons to part company with Lenny. Not sure. But whatever it is, it couldn't be so bad. And this is in the nature of sports. Every single coach would have known that, listen, when it comes down to this, there's no, what term would I use now? There's no loyalty. There's no loyalty, Gibbs.
We can't even use any international sport or any other thing to kind of align with it, because you wouldn't have that in for example in an international club competition, because players would have to have a contract. They wouldn't be just there without a contract. So
no, you have that though.
The club in a because that would be a forfeit of their contract.
Gibbs, you know all the 16 and 17-year-olds that used to play in the different leagues, they don't have a contract.
They don't have a contract. They don't have a contract.
So they are there, and sometimes they wait until they reach 18, they sign a contract.
Right. But the thing about it, those players for the Chapelton Maroons, the players that we are talking about, it pretty much seems like they are the backbone of the team. And so they step aside, the team itself break apart.
Of course, Gibbs. And let me tell you.
Because I overheard, not to break it, I overheard Lenny interview after the last game before he was sacked.
Mm-hmm.
I think they didn't have any change. I think they finished. I think they played the game with just 11 players. They didn't even have any changes.
Why was that so?
So I guess it started from there. Then that means something because he was making reference to they don't have enough players to continue the competition, and they were trying to get in some players and all of that. So I
listen, me man, a whole lot of story behind that, you see, and I've heard things, but I don't want to bring it in this particular show because I know there will be a follow-up story. You know, one of the issue is that look at this. When the Doncaster Cup competition finished, Lenny Hyde was very mad in the situation where the JFF stated that only 5 uncontracted players can be in the team at any one time.
Right.
And because of that, previously, in the qualifiers and coming to the Premier League, there was 8 Clarendon College boys who started in that team.
Right.
So
I don't understand. It's the same competition. It's a JFF run competition.
Yes.
So I don't understand.
No, what I am saying, you know, 8 of them played in the qualifier. But apparently when they come to Premier League, they can't play. There
That's
you go
I'm
again.
saying. Me not understand that.
You see what I'm
It's
saying?
the same. It's a JFF run competition. So why is it that they can play in the qualifying, but when it gets to the actual competition,
The only thing I can say
only
from
5.
that, the only thing we can say from that, the qualifier is not a professional league.
It's run by JFF because I'm sure I used to play Division 1 and Major League and all those kind of league. And you can't sign for 2 teams in the same year of the competition or else you're in trouble.
Not
So
even
it's JFF run competition, the same thing. And a whole lot of other rules I know used to run those same competitions.
Benji, not
Set
even,
by the JFF, come trickle down to the parish and so on.
not even 4 years after you can't just sign, so you have to follow protocols.
Exactly, you have to have transfer, right, proper transfer and all of that.
Exactly.
And that was like D1 and we call that Bush League proper, basically. So I don't understand that. I don't understand.
Remember, you know, to how the thing did get serious, you know. If you play in corner league and get into trouble in the corner league and get a red card or disciplinary action, you know, that carry out into your professional career. You know? So, you see, one of the points is, and I think the bigger point of this, and we need some more information out of Chapelton Maroon as well, because during...
because probably we are in the dark and it's hard to discuss things without having enough information, you know.
Right. But during the first phase of the competition, while Clarendon College was playing the Doncaster Cup, how many players Chapelton Maroon had or have playing in the Premier League?
I'm sure they had the full quota of players.
So they should have at least 22, because 8 would have been 8 would have been registered as schoolboy.
Probably not. Sorry, I am thinking. Some of those players who were there on the team, fighting hard for the team while the Dakar Soccer competition was going on. Apparently, it seemed like some of those players, when the Dakar Soccer finally ended, they were pushed aside.
I heard that too. That's true. It happened.
Probably they were pushed aside and then just decided, you know what?
I heard that too.
I'm not gonna bother with this thing anymore.
And I've heard.
Now that the players, the Clarendon College players, decided to step aside, they don't have enough players now.
Gibbs, you hit the nail on the head, I've heard that too.
I think, I'm thinking down that line. Probably that's where the problem is.
And let me tell you something.
That's where the problem is.
It is so bad that when you have 8 players playing in the qualifier, so that's 8 of a squad in a bus.
Yes.
How many other members in the squad? So those would have been the persons plus a few additional players who I believe they got.
Probably those are 8 starters are probably
yes,
8
they
regular
were.
players.
They were, but the 8 of them couldn't play the whole competition.
No.
Good. So you see, all of this thing comes from, it's an internal issue,
Yeah,
it's an internal issue.
It is.
And the fact that the team has been in shambles, I've heard that Lenny told players not to come back.
That's petty.
I mean, can't hold me to task, but these are things that have been said. During the show, somebody texted me.
I don't think that is far from the truth either. It is highly possible.
I got a text while on the show on the phone here. The person never want to talk it out there. The text says there is one player who wanted to stay with the Chapelton Maroon. That's one of the Clarendon College. And the text said, the coach said to him, listen, remember the cup next year.
Jesus.
Again,
Yeah,
I can't say that
sabotage.
is really truth.
Some sabotage in business are going, brother.
So it's
some
serious.
sabotage
It's
in
serious.
business are going, yes.
And I will say this. School, and we had a discussion over this thing some time ago, Gibbs, if you remember, where we say schoolboy football, no, the Costa Cup and Manning Cup has no bearing on development.
No.
And I want to understand, are these athletes really students? Are they going to school?
Right. Yeah, are they student athletes?
Are they going to school right now? These are things I would like to know, Because these boys are not moving like schoolboys.
No.
Again, there are so many questions without answers. And, one of the things is that...
But back to the JFF though, and the sanctions. I am still... They don't give Chapelton Maroon a listening ear before they at least throw down the hammer on them, man.
No.
They don't give them a chance to meet and express themselves and say exactly what happened and the situation that they find themselves in, and they just
no, they don't.
Are apparent.
What I was told
until the sanctions were handed down.
What I was told, the media even got a hold of this press release before the club.
Well, that's a usual thing.
I tell you, I've suffered. I tell people that happened to me already,
That's how the world around now. I can tell you that.
You see, but what I am saying, we can't just follow the world for everything. If we don't have our own protocol, our own system, our own standards, we will always lag behind.
always somebody to leak, you know. There's always somebody that will leak.
No, but what I am saying, you know, Bridget, this, if they had called in Chapelton Maroons to a session, to a meeting this morning, no leaking wouldn't go on because Chapelton Maroons would have gotten it here, there, and then.
Right. But still, I would love to find out if there is a window in terms of the time when you have to submit your what I would say now. Let's say you are in a situation where you know you can turn up for a game. You're having some issues. If there is a time, if there is a window in which you must submit some information to the governing body, which is the JFF and whoever running the competition, to say, okay, all right, as a team, we are in this position. We're not sure we're going to make it for the game on Sunday because of X, Y, and Z. And, you know, what is our option?
All right, let me try and find something in that sense, if it is there. So, hold on.
Because there can't be a competition without something like that. Then something would be wrong. What if I am on my way to the competition? Or, let's say, well, let's not just put it to the extreme then, because things can happen. But I guess I look at it, you must have plan A, B, C, D. So, probably they are saying that, you know, you don't have a choice. You must turn up for the game. And I don't think it's like, there must be some clause in the book to say that if by any chance, 2-3 days before the game, you are having any issue, follow these steps to report the problem so that we can address it early. So that, for example, Mount Pleasant don't leave from where?
Yes, that's another story.
And come travel to Effortville and waste the money, waste the time, waste gas, waste this and all of that.
Yes.
There must be something there, man. There must be something there.
All right, listen to this part of it. I don't see anything as it relates to reporting. But they say if a club does not report for a match, except in cases of force, we never can call this word I know. Help me pronounce this. MJEURE is what, sir? Hey. So,
when I hear it,
MAJEURE.
MAJ. You're spelling the words so fast that they can't register what you're saying. MAJ. EURE. Whatever they're trying to say, man. Probably
So they are saying that it's a jargon. So except in the case of force majeure or whatever it is, recognized by the PFAJ Operations Committee, or if it is refuses to continue to play or leaves the stadium before the end of a match, the team shall be considered as having lost the match, and 3 points shall be awarded, with the 3 goals. More if, in the case of an abandoned match, the winning team has already reached a higher score at the time the guilty team leaves the field. The guilty club shall be fined a maximum $200,000. In the case of selected live televised games, the guilty club shall be fined a maximum $1 million for failure to honor fixtures. So, no, what I am saying there, based on what it is saying, and the question you asked,
there's
nothing to report.
Nothing to suggest that you can report any issues or problems you're having before the game.
But saying that to say, Gibbs, they say in case, I'm going to find out what that word mechanical means because
Yes.
we are here for learning.
I'm going to look for it when you're done. Yeah,
I
man.
look
I'm
for it
going
right
to
now,
search it
man.
up as soon as you finish.
Right now. Me I look for it.
Yeah,
Right?
man. Do that.
So, listen to this now. Unforeseeable circumstances that prevent someone from
Unforeseeable. Okay.
circumstance
Unforeseeable circumstances. Yeah,
that
okay. All right.
prevent someone from fulfilling a contract.
Mm-hmm.
You hear that, sir?
So that means whatever it was that Chapelton Maroons team was experiencing, it's not
It's not an unforeseeable circumstance.
No. No. And then probably, I'm just here thinking, that probably the management team of the Chapelton Maroons, probably they weren't even aware that these players were going to forfeit the game until maybe the day of the game, the morning of the game.
No, I think they knew, I think they knew, but what hit them hard, I think on Thursday or Wednesday, I think it is Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, 6 or 7 players came down with a virus. That compound their problems.
But is there any facts to that though? Because that's so.
No, listen.
Way to me.
Listen, what I was told is that one person had the virus and they were staying at the house. That person never trained on Wednesday, but by Thursday, another 6 players down.
But then, all right. Let's look at it this way, Sadi. I don't know if you discussed this on the show before, But how many players you can play a game with? 7.
Yes, I think 7 minimum.
So why the management team never turned up with the 7 players?
I said that too. I think I said it before you came in, and I said if I was a coach, I would reach. But me know my 7 players wouldn't last 5 minutes.
All right, look, they wouldn't last 5 minutes, but your 6 points wouldn't be deducted, and you would have $200,000 for sale.
Exactly.
You would lose it. You would lose the game.
So this is where I said that.
But the punishment wouldn't be so drastic.
No. And you wouldn't.
6 or 4 or whatever it is.
Listen, me boss. You say my team would last 5 minutes. Me sure that.
Yeah, start the game and then call them off.
Me not call them off. Then if one player get injured and can't continue, you go.
Listen.
Gibbs.
I've been in a situation like that.
Yes.
We start Division 1 game with 8 players, 7 players, 9 players before. We just turn up just so that I never turn out bad either. So I don't know, probably pride too kind of help prevent them from turning up to the game because after you sack a coach, brother, that's the next thing. You sack the coach, and instead of you improve, you go further backwards. that kind of insult, that add insult to injury.
You see, what I got from all of this too, as you mentioned, that there's not a stable structure at Chapelton Maroons.
Yeah,
I don't think there's a structure.
I overheard that from Lenny too.
I don't think there's a structure. But let me say this. Well, Andy, let me big up Shaq Boy. I enjoy this topic. Hopefully this will lead to some rule changes. Well, not necessarily. Yes, Shaq Boy, that's true. But I'm not bending for rule changes, but adjustment to the rule, Let it be more clearer and not just left to interpretation.
And also more dialogue too.
Yes, man. Of course.
You don't just drop the hammer down on a team like that, especially if you're in for development.
That we can understand, boss. Again,
all right.
Let me just finish up.
Yeah, go ahead.
B. Douglas, if you're gonna plan to fire your coach, you have to have a plan. Douglas, let me tell you the truth. Let me tell you the truth. You have plan, But if you check worldwide, is after the clubs fire the coach, then go searching, even though they might have somebody in line. Hold on there, no boss. So even if you remember you fire a coach, that means you have a coach in mind. Wrong or right? That would have been the plan.
Yes.
But you don't have a plan, say boy, the players are going to live with the coach.
No. That one is very hard to
You get what I'm saying? So while me understand you have a plan to get a coach, and you probably have 2, 3, 4 coaches in mind. Even if you have a selected coach in mind. But you're not planning around players leaving with the coach. You expect the coaching staff to leave with the coach.
No. And so this also lead me to believe that there wasn't any relationship between the players and the management team. Not true? Because they wouldn't just walk away if there was a good relationship between them and they, even though, because I've been in situation like that before where I'm my coach, but the team decided, listen, we're not play with this coach. And the coach decided to walk away. I didn't walk away with the coach. I stick with the team. You understand? But me still respect the coach. You understand? So you have to look at the commitment from the players too. The players, I don't think they had a very good relationship with the management team and the rest of the.
Let me tell you something.
They were playing for the coach.
Exactly.
They weren't playing for the team.
And boss, let me tell you this, so me did foresee some little problem of this, when you have so many schoolboys playing. This is what the problem I have. I say, what will happen when Premier League start and these boys playing Dakar Cup? That was my intention. That was my thinking, And those are questions that I had asked. However, we see the competition start. So that means they must have at least 18 players in and around.
And here again, Sadi, that's why you say, you said there is not a solid management structure there. Because guess what? You can't blame them. You can't, in a sense, you can't blame them. Sign a contract. I don't sign a contract to say I am obligated to do X, Y, and Z. I can do whatever I want to do,
Yes, Gibbs, and I'm saying the same rules. Here they say the same knife for stick sheep, stick goat.
Yeah, I know.
But
I know.
But saying
I know,
that,
I agree with you too.
I am not blaming the players any at all. For one reason, they are underage players. Then they are not contracted players.
Pretty much, this is how I look at them. They are just there to support, It's almost like a help. Them a help out the team, It's a help out situation. I look at that as
no,
it's
sir.
a help out situation.
Me not think so.
Because here we know.
Me not think so help out.
Then look at this. Look at what happened. Look at what happened. And there's nothing that you can do to them.
But you see, there are rules that guide that, if let's say Gibbs, put it this way.
No, but Sadi.
Let me share something with you, Gibbs. Hold on, man. Let me share something with you.
There must be. Yes, go ahead.
Before, Lenny had start coach the team, into the qualifiers,
No, me know that. Me know that.
Okay. Now, if this club has some structure to it, regardless of how many players come in, these players and who were there before would have still been there. Mark you, they may not be happy because they wouldn't be playing week out, week in. Right. But the structure now would have helped those players to say, listen, you're still a part of it, you are being paid. Wonder if you understand what I'm saying. Because they couldn't leave in the middle of the competition. They wouldn't have played no ball. Anyway.
Yes.
Because they can't sign another contract.
Yeah. No.
They can't get no transfer at that point. So the structure of the club would have helped to mold those players or to keep them happy. Hold on the Gibbs. Let me take a few more in the chat.
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
Yes, Douglas, you're saying that seems like the manager is really not so smart. I'm sorry. Yes, I don't know if I should say the manager. per se or the entire management structure in the club, you know, because I don't know the manager. I guess I think I've learned that the manager is also lean towards Lenny too. So you see what I'm saying? It's been talked about for weeks. Yeah, that's true. And a whole lot of people have different information. You have some people who are closer to the club who have more information than us, you know. So, Douglas, if you have anything closer, you can give me a thing, man. They got a player managing the team is crazy. Right, so, okay. There's no structure whatsoever. So it seems like B. Douglas have a clear understanding of what's happening at Maroons. Yes, Gibbs. Somebody I had persons already who said to me that there's not a structure. They had proposed, you know, a sort of system and, you know, they move away. What I was told though, you know, what I was told earlier that the owner have a lot of money. So him can get any player. Well, I know, man. Him can get.
If you have the money, employ the right people.
Well, guess what? The mistake was made by hiring Lenny without these, what would I say now, contractual agreement that the players come with him.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
remember, I know.
All right.
This.
I listen. Go ahead.
This owner is a man who run an academy, you know, boss. So him have a lot of players, young players who him cater for, you know. You get what I'm saying? So,
yes.
Listen, I don't even want to put too much emphasis in this structure thing until we get somebody out of that Chapelton Maroon to talk to us. Because,
right.
You know, as we say, no Gibbs, you can plan, but the plan no must work.
You know, must work out still, because I listened to Lenny interview with him on Sportmax.
Mm-hmm.
And according to him, right?
Yes.
The team, they saw the Chapelton Maroons, or him, for example, saw the Chapelton Maroons as a team from that section of the parish that they would use to help to groom Edwin Allen, Lennon, and Clarendon College Dakasa Cup players, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to use the Chapelton Maroon as a nursery, like an academy. So the under 14s would come up, the under 16s would come up, and they would come up and play for the national team and also. So when when Dakasa Cup is pretty much over with, they have somewhere to go and play and continue to develop. You understand? So they had a good thing, and that is the reason why he joined the Chapelton Maroons, because he saw it as a developmental program or system for the players coming out of Lennon and Edwin Allen and those players in that section of the parish. You understand? So it seems like they had a good discussion, they had a good plan. But as you said, sometimes the plan don't work out.
Gibbs.
You understand? But based on what Lenny was saying is that the management system, the management staff, they don't have any patience. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any patience. They want to win right away, and everything takes time. And remember, they were pretty much losing left, right, and center. So, and you know, normally when a team losing, the coach are the first person to get the knife. You know.
Let me tell you, two things in what I picked up. Two things in what you said, which I wanted to laugh, but me hold back the laugh. What you said, Lenny, say as it relates to players from different schools.
Yeah, man, you can go back and
well,
listen to
man. No, me not say no say it.
And Sportmax.
Me not say no say it. You hear what me I say, Gibbs? He was just saying that to make it look good. But our players...
Because only Clarendon College players.
Listen me now, man. A Clarendon College match I develop. So when you can see one player from Lennon come in a Chapelton Maroons, you just take them away.
Yes.
Me I say that to say, listen to what me I say now. If you so desire have that sort of development, and you just get a chance to coach the Al Dakasta Cup team, good, and you want to
Yes.
develop schoolboys, and you select 9 of your players,
Yes.
good,
I get you.
and you
I get you.
only find one other player from all those schools that you mentioned to come to Al
I
Dakasta.
get you. Yeah, I get you. That means you're not looking out. You're not looking out for your side if
Come
that's
on.
the case.
You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
all of
man,
these
it's
things was
clear.
just something to make it look pretty, but he has his own intention based on what we are seeing now.
Yeah.
Again,
Interest, yeah.
again, you are saying to me the guys they want to win, the manager. Who no want to win? Nobody now enter Premier League if you develop. Premier League on a development stage.
Yes.
It may be
That's
development.
true,
Hold on. It may be development for the national program. It may be.
Yes. Yes.
But look at this now, Gibbs. You have a Premier League match Sunday. Good? And you have an Al Dakasta Cup match on Saturday. And 5 of the players who will be playing in the Premier League match Sunday, you play 5 of them in an Al Dakasta Cup match for 80 or 90 minutes. What you get out of that? You look like you have any interest for tomorrow's game?
No. No way.
All right.
You and I know that for sure. I remember now, it's not like I could understand if they were playing in a Premier League game and have a Dakar Cup game the day after. You're stepping down the level. You understand me? So they may be able to function. But you're moving from a Dakar Cup level to a higher level, a game playing at a faster rate and everything like that. And you play them for 80, 85 minutes. And then say, okay, they have to sleep and travel the next day to get to that next game.
Gibbs,
At that age,
serious man. Big man, no matter how a player strong, to play 2 90 minutes matches in 2 days must have a toll on you. You see these Clarendon College boys, I one who will hear them play football for not tapping. They have not stopped since the qualifiers. A matter of fact, let's break out the qualifiers.
Yes.
Since last year, the Casta Cup season, they not stop playing football.
Yes. Right.
So they play through the qualifier with a higher tempo, run hard, look good, play good, come back in the Casta Cup a charge. You know, I've seen Lenny Hyde play matches where my lead. Think me want to get that match as thing. I think I want a 3-love match. 80-90 minutes and Lenny Hyde only make 1 change in a game. When you can make 7.
Right.
I am not saying that's not what you want to do as a coach. But playing in a schoolboy football and then give you 7 changes, brethren. You control the game, you lead the game, and you only could make 1 change.
That's why development is at where it is. Jamaican football is where it is.
It's a make it a point of duty. So most schools, most players can get a game. 7 changes. And a lot of coaches don't make even 3.
That means almost your full squad can play a game.
You see what I'm saying?
Almost your full squad can play a game.
So Gibbs, I want to get back.
Well,
I am on Google because me have to get information, so we have to learn. Now they give us example. See? Of the term, I'm going to call it Maguire. Because I can't pronounce it. Or Maguire. Alright? What is the example of it? Typical force events include natural causes, fire, storms, floods. Alright, those are natural causes. Governmental or social actions, war, invasion, civil unrest, labor strikes, infrastructure, failures, transportation, energy, etc. Those are what they look at, the force measure. Alright?
Okay.
So that means
so let me just use a simple one because that's way out. Because they're talking about, let's say you have a civil unrest, a earthquake, a hurricane, severe weather. things like those.
Mm-hmm.
But what if you're on your way to the game and there's an accident?
Yes, that would have come under transportation.
That would come under transportation issue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. So these are things we may say. So right there and then, if you follow the rules, Chapelton Maroons in trouble by far, which may see that. And again, there's by law, they say ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Yeah,
so if you don't know it,
that's the reason why sometimes I don't like have a discussion without having information, because you might say things which is obvious, but because you don't know, you look like a fool.
Yes, man. Trust me. So, Gibbs, I tell you, it has been a long. We are now 3 hours, and we are come to the end of the show. I thank you very much for calling. This is it's a fruitful discussion, and as usual, you're always on point. And remember, you have some sanctions to face. You can't late for another class, Gibbs, based on what RR said. So.
Hey, guess what? You know that I had that staff meeting, well, and not even a staff meeting, but a grade level meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I came in late.
Okay.
And then, you go with teacher and stuff, you have to plan up some lessons and things. But I said, listen, I'm supposed to be on the Saudichress show, And then when I realized the time was pretty much gone, let me say, you know what, I'm still assigning time, I get the last piece of it.
Yeah, man, that's nice. I'm happy for that.
But my apology, man. I apologize. You don't sound me like the Chapelton Maroons. So.
I leave you to RR. RR is the competition manager.
Them should have turned up with 7 players and play the game. That may I say.
That's what I said earlier, And as I said,
keep the thing going.
As I said, I don't think my 7 players could have lasted 5 minutes, because if one player get injured, match done,
Yeah, but at least.
Yes, because
the sanctions would be limited.
And it's true. It is true.
3 points and 3 goals. Look at it that way. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
3 points and 3 goals. I mean, they can win the Premier League again. And I think I heard somewhere that no teams will be demoted.
No, exactly.
From the league this year.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, they want to get another additional 2 to bring it to 16.
Well, to be honest, Chapelton Maroons, they will be okay.
Yeah, they will learn from this experience, I'm sure.
Yeah, they will learn.
Hopefully,
I hope the management team can find a good structure and put things in place, because, to be honest, we need a team from that part of the parish to stay in the league, man.
And remember too, boss. Remember too that they have an international coach now.
Yeah, because
Clovis de Oliveira.
I tell you, and imagine you take on a team, and that's your first introduction. You can't play your first. You can't honor your first pictures because you don't have players.
That is so sad. That is really sad. So, Gibbs, that is how it is. Unfortunately.
Lessons, man.
Unfortunately, that's how we have to leave it. It was really a very good night. And so.
Yeah, but I will catch you guys on Wednesday.
Yes, man, most definitely. But, before we go, I just want to acknowledge, and not just acknowledge, but to bring about advertisement. And so we had started last year. And before we go, people, I just want to bring about the Garvey Massey High School Alliance will be, having their bingo fundraiser on March 5th at 6 p.m. So if you see it there, it's at 6 p.m., $20 per set of 4 books. And we have 7 exciting games. 7 exciting games, people, for you to win the grand prize. You know what happened? The bingo will be in the US,
Oh, all right. So my apology.
Yes, and it will be done over Zoom. So wherever you are, you still can participate.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that when COVID just came around sometime in 2020.
Yes, man.
I saw that somewhere.
This guy, Mr. Lee, from Gavin Massey, is the architect of this, So he
yeah, man. Mr. Lee, the boss, man.
Yeah, man. He has done one for Edinalin too. It was very good. So, people, 7 exciting games. Grand prize, $500. So you can spend $20 and win $500. What I think. Not send it to the gambling.
A good investment.
Of course, it's just for support. Support these events. So you can link Champy.
A good investment.
Champy in Jamaica at 872-1522. Gary 876-399-9151. Those are the Jamaican people and their numbers. Jervis in Canada 416-566-0060. And also Thomas in New York City 917-657-2094. And the big man Mr. Lee himself in Connecticut 203-676-6230. So those are the numbers for you to contact. And remember, this is the Gavin Massey High School Alliance Bingo Fundraiser on March 5th at 6 p.m. The Zoom link will be sent or shared with you after the purchase of your ticket. So people, please, we have to support each and everyone. And this is what we're trying to do. Gibbs, I must say that all schools now trying to support each other. It's not about who alone want to win or who want to be the best school.
Man,
this is in the interest.
For that.
This is the interest of
because at the
youngsters.
At the end of the day, we're developing the country and we're developing everything.
And the youth.
That's how you develop.
So I must say, people, that is the Garvey Massey High School Alliance. And I'm asking you, I'm telling you again, let us support. Whichever school you are, when is your time, we all support you. I mean, there are the fine prints at the bottom or at the lower side of the ad. I have to be careful of what I say these days.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So it is also fully endorsed by the school administration. All right. So proceeds to support Garvin Massey High School, sports department, and other programs. All right, people. So game, gifts, prizes, cash, and kind. So wherever you are, whatever you win, the Alliance will ensure that you get your gifts or your prizes anywhere. England, Canada, US, Jamaica. There will be here again. So thank you very much, people, for staying. Good night, everyone. Have safe travel if you are still traveling. And have a good night. Hopefully, we'll be here Wednesday. Another education episode, people. Very interesting. So see you on Wednesday, 8:30. Same place.
Yes,
same time.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. And have a good night. Good night, everyone.
Yes, sir. Blessings to you and the viewers.
All right.
All right.
Respect. Good night.